So good evening. Tonight we had with us Justin Webb from Oklahoma State University. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
And as far as I understand, you have conducted your recent research on the relationship between formal and informal entrepreneurs in emerging country and the difficulties they have when they try to grow. So if you can tell us what are these differences and what are the limits to grow for entrepreneurs in both cases.
Yeah. So the informal entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs that kind of are operating without a formal business registration. So on one hand, they're illegal, yet in emerging economies, they're often legitimate as well. And so not surprisingly, the informal micro enterprises, the small entrepreneurs, often have difficulty accessing resources such as financial capital, loans from banks, skilled labor. But what was surprising in our study was the fact that these formal micro enterprises are facing difficulties in terms of growth due to crime. And the formal micro enterprises face a much more significant challenge due to theft, vandalism, and extortion.
Good. And have you studied any country in particular? Can you give us some examples of this dynamic? Yeah.
Well, informality occurs in every country. In developed economies like the U.S., Western Europe, the informal economy can be about 5 to 10% on average of the overall economy. In emerging economies, the average is more about 25 to 30% of the overall economy. In some developing economies, the informal economy can actually be larger than the formal economy. So this is very significant. My own research, we've looked at firms in Guatemala, this particular study that we talked about, as well as Brazil.
Good. And any example of one particular firm and the problem that it faces? I think you talked about a warehouse business in Guatemala City.
So one of the entrepreneurs that we talked to in Guatemala had this major warehouse operation where he was buying goods across Central and South America and selling them within Guatemala City. And at one point, the gangs called him up and said, "We know where your wife lives, and we know where your daughter goes to school, and you need to pay us these bribes, or we're going to come after your family." And at that point, he decided that it wasn't worth it anymore, and he adapted his company. And now, instead of having a major warehouse operation, instead, he's basically a walking trader where he walks from customer to customer, and he only serves those customers that come to him upon reference. So.
And now, just to close the question that I asked to all of our speakers, and it's a more general question that I'm asking you as an expert in entrepreneurship. Is entrepreneurship the recipe that is going to take out of the crisis? What do you think?
It's a key ingredient. I think definitely to get economic development, you need entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is where you get your new products, your new services, and so that you get this greater efficiency within the economy overall that will allow the economy to grow. But it is only one ingredient, and I think as our research shows, you also need to have the context there to support entrepreneurship. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you.